I think you really enjoy seeing 33 dresses today all modeled. Welcome back to Roundup Week or the sewing of 2021. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing. I'm coming to you from a chilly day in Chile. That sort of rhymes. It's actually super cold today and it's sort of dark and dreary. There was a little bit of rain going on, and that's what happens in the south of Chile. Sometimes it just rains. I've got my Tuva smart cardigan on, which was a great addition to what I've brought this year, and it's keeping me warm, just the amount I need for this type of weather. And this is Roundup Week. I have decided to share with you all the sewing of 2021 in a different way compared to the previous years where there was a video that was like 90 minutes long. This time I have separated these into parts and you're going to see them grouped by garment type. I think it's easier for you to watch that way. And yesterday I have already uploaded all the toppers I made in 2021. There's 31 garments for you to see in one video: cardigans, coats, blazers, dusters, all of those things. So if you haven't caught on to what's happening this week, I will leave you a playlist down below so you can see all the Roundup Week. One link, all the videos will be there. I have made small clips of each garment with my commentary on sizing, my impressions when I've worn them. So it's really fun viewing for you. I try to make it as dynamic as possible so that you can watch and enjoy it. Course. I know a lot of you like watching Roundup videos, so I planned this in advance, and today is all about the dresses. I have been asked in the comment section of many videos why I like wearing dresses so much. Some of you have even asked if it's a cultural thing, and I'm a bit torn between the answer. I don't really have a clear answer. I definitely see a lot of dresses here in the street when I walk around in Chile. It's not uncommon. I definitely see a lot of dresses in Brazil when I go to the mall or to any shop, the pharmacy, whatever. Of course, there's a lot of people that like to dress casually with only pants. And I've gone through phases during my life, but I have to say that maybe for 80% of my whole life, discounting my childhood when I was a real tomboy, I have been wearing dresses. Ever since I started sewing, I found them really fun to make, really satisfying to wear. When I was in 7th, 8th grade in the States, I would go to school wearing dresses. Not that common, most people were wearing jeans. It actually was more affordable for me to sew up dresses rather than to buy jeans and things like that. During my teenage years, during university, I would go to my classes wearing pencil skirts with slits, and I've always enjoyed dressing up in this way. So it might be a personal thing, a bit mixed up with a cultural thing maybe. Women in Latin America in general do dress up to the nines to go out. Even if you're going to go and buy bread in the corner shop, whatever, there is a little bit of an effort involved. Just my impression from having lived in many continents and countries, I tend to be the one that's a little bit dressed up. But that's okay. I love sharing all my dresses with you. Whenever I'm going to sew a dress, I'm really excited because I just love them. They're just so nice and they are an outfit in themselves. So you are going to see 33 dresses I've made during the year 2021. You'll see different styles, both knits and woven fabrics. Some a bit more complex than others, some super easy to whip up, some that actually are not meant to be dresses. The dress originates from a pattern made for a top. Can always become a dress, and I love doing that. So I'm really excited to share all the twirls and the prints and the colors. Yeah, let's get on with it. The fridge dress is the first dress I made in 2021. I had made this previously as a peplum top. I really like the curved hem, the shape that this skirt has, shorter on the sides and longer in the center. The bodice hits the waist there, and usually with bodices that hit the waist that are semi-fitted, I needed to make some changes in the darts, just lower them a little bit on the side, also shorten the waist darts on the front. You can see a side view of my darts and a small sway back adjustment, 3/8 to make sure it hits the small of my back. The gathers on the skirt aren't very much, it doesn't really create that much volume there, and the feet at the waist is nice and roomy. I love this keyhole type of V neckline. There is a center front seam there. You can see on the video on my channel all my tips and footage of me sewing this to get a really neat result. The sleeves are just dolman sleeves. There's no sleeves to set in there, and there's little cuffs on the side. This is a dress I feel great in, and this fabric is super flowy. It's a rayon linen look. It is 100% rayon, but it's a little heavier and it does look like linen. So pretty. This is the Freedom dress from Wardrobe by Me. I made in 100% rayon with a purple color, super pretty. This is another dress that is a relaxed fit where the bodice also does hit the waist at the waist height. I made my bodice a tad bit longer, 5/8 of an inch, and also lowered the bust dart on the side, and then you have a gathered skirt. You can make the skirt long or shorter according to your preference, and you can have between 1, 2 or 3 tiers or no tiers if you want. You can see that the gathers on the skirt don't add much volume at all, and it's a very flowy look, very comfortable to wear. I made a video for the Wardrobe by Me sewing channel where you can see how to sew this front placket with the buttons and that curved collar there on the top. Very nice technique, and it's a really nice neat finish. I love finishes like this on bodices. It's all interfaced. There are sleeve options in this dress, and I have the bishop sleeves that have a casing on the bottom with an elastic. I left the elastic quite loose so it's not actually compressing my arms, so that is really comfortable. It's called Freedom dress, and actually you could feel pretty free in this. Nothing is tugging or making you feel uncomfortable. You could eat and be really comfortable in this dress. Really love the purple here, and I really enjoyed sewing this one. This is the Margaret dress from Love Notions. This pattern has been updated to include the full size range up to 5X and a standard and a full bust. Originally this is meant to be a peplum. You can have like a half circle peplum or a pleated one. I always do the pleated one, and the amount I need to lengthen it to make it into a dress is about 12 inches. I always make a muslin to make sure that the bodice is going to hit my waist, and I do need to add some length to the bodice. There you can see the pleats that unite with the princess seams on this bodice. I think it's a really nice dress. I have modified it to be sleeveless, and I have a hack with a V neckline and a neckband as well. Really easy hack to do, and my bodice is fully lined to account for the fact that this ITY is really lightweight and I don't want that clinging to my undergarments. A lined bodice always feels so nice on, and you don't feel the seams inside. It's really neat and pretty also. So it's always worth to see how to line it. You can see how to do that on the video on my channel. Just a classic fit and flare dress that suits a lot of people, and it makes me feel great when I wear it. I actually wore it on the day I turned 42 years old this year for my birthday. Really nice dress, and the colors are really vibrant. Super me. This is a willow dress from Love Notions. In the past I'd made peplum tops, and in 2020 I made a dress. 2021 I made 2 more. But I've hacked the skirts. The difference I have here with the skirt is that it's a skirt that is not that flared. There is a small flounce at the bottom. This has the original wrap bodice, simple crossover. I always lengthen it a little bit and also raise the wrap so that it hits a little higher. I have a regular short sleeve. Here you can see the binding inside. It's nice and firm. I don't need a pin. I'm very comfortable. I'm not showing cleavage. Because I've made this dress before, it is a TNT. And sewing an easy dress like this that I know looks good on me, that I feel great in, is really relaxing. And I used this dress when I was a bit stuck in my sojo, wasn't very much inspired. This fabric inspired me, and knowing that this dress was going to fit me perfect was great. Then I made another one, and I keep the same bodice. The only difference here is that I drafted a pencil skirt to go with that bodice. The very easy hack that I always do. I have ITY as well. The crossover I'm very happy with because it's quite high. This one I made it even higher, and I'm really comfortable like this. I'm not worried that the crossover is going to open up and show anything. I have a shorter sleeve than the one before. Just small changes that can make a pattern look a little different, although you're sewing the same well-known pattern. I think once you get a pattern that fits you right, there's no reason why you shouldn't repeat it, and small changes will make a pretty big difference. This is the Seychelles top from Itch to Stitch. It is originally meant to be a top, but you know, I always think you can make a dress from a top pattern. You just have to lengthen it. And I just follow the shape on the side seams. It turns A-lined. Here it is with a belt. It fits like a shift dress. You know, I'm fine with a dress that fits nice and loose at the waist and hips as long as the bust fits really well. This one does because it's got bust cup options and a bust dart, so I'm really happy with this dress. Very floaty crepe fabric. The original pattern has a facing for the V neckline, and I just simplified it with this one and finished the neckline with bias binding instead. It's a really special technique I've shown on the channel that I really enjoy sewing. And this pattern either has gathers on the sleeve cap or pleats. I'm showing on the video on my channel how to sew both types of sleeves. I make a size 14 to 16 with a C cup. I've added a little bit of length to the sleeves, and my bust dart as always is a little lower by about 3/8 of an inch. Lovely pattern. If you haven't tried Itch to Stitch patterns, you are missing out. The size range is really good from 0 to 40, so it can really work for a lot of people. This is the Claudia from Sinclair Patterns. It's a really neat design, fit and flare style with godets on the side. You can really see the features on this muslin I made, but I wanted to make sure the fit was right and I can wear this around the house. And you can see how the fit goes in at the waist, keeps the volume at the bottom of the skirt without giving you the volume at the waist. Because this is a lightweight rayon, you can sew a fake V-neck band, which is super easy to sew. You can see how to sew that on my channel. And this is a rayon spandex that was left over from another project. I didn't have much left, so keeping the print in the center and using scraps of black rayon spandex on the side made this dress come to life. Really fun to use your fabrics in that way. Now this is my final Claudia dress that I made with a really nice athletic knit, pretty pricey. That's why I wanted to make sure that the fit of the armhole, the neckline was going to be good with the previous one you saw in rayon spandex. I did raise the armhole a little bit to give me a bit more cover, and because this fabric is thicker and more structured, love the fit on the back, how it shapes the small of the back. The neckline is finished with a facing. These are all options provided in the pattern, which makes this dress work with lightweight to heavyweight knit fabrics. You can see the top stitching on the facing there is very neat. I show you how to do that on the video on the channel as well. I'm always showing you all the practical bits that I think could help you get nice results. The height files make a big difference for me. The toe file means I need to make very small pattern adjustments, if any. It's a classic for me, and I would make a ton of these dresses because it's a style I really like. Super happy with my Claudia dresses. Continuing with Sinclair Patterns, this is a Betty fake wrap dress, which is amazing. It's got a fake wrap bodice and a fake wrap skirt. There is a seam at the waist and it fits really nicely, nice and fitted at the hips, and there's a little bit of a tulip thing going on the side. I did make a little muslin to make sure this was going to fit me correctly, and the pleats that unite there on the side that are diagonal on the skirt and the bodice are really fun to put together. I do show you how to do that on my channel. It's all very nicely explained, so you can make one for yourself. I do have a lined back. It just gives more structure to the dress and prevents you from seeing the bra lines at the back. I do show you also how to sew that. This is a classic style of dress that I think really suits me and that I feel amazing in. I like the cover. There's no need for a pin or anything. It's all finished with binding or knee inside. I did raise the armhole for extra cover. I liked really closed armholes, and I'm glad I can customize that and check that when I make a quick muslin. After making the Betty dress as per the original, I went and did a little hack. I got the skirt pieces and just did some slashing and spreading to get wider pattern pieces. They don't modify the pleats that unite at the bodice. Nothing is changed there. It's just that you have more volume at the skirt. I kept that little tulip shape on one knee. That's why it looks short on one side, on the other. It looks asymmetric, and I love that. This is ITY, super lightweight, and I also have a lined bodice here at the back to just provide a little bit more support while keeping the flowiness of the skirt. Love this print. It's so subdued, but so beautiful. I think this is one of the most beautiful dresses I've made in the year. I have to say that with all honesty. Knowing that the bodice fits and everything is great. All I have to do is have a little fun and create a little bit of a difference to the skirt to give you a different look with the same pattern. This is my Recoleta dress from Itch to Stitch. This one was made as per the pattern. I was a pattern tester, so this is the original design. It has an empire line bodice with an A-line skirt. There are darts at the waist and darts under the bust. It does really need to hit under the bust. Of course, I made a muslin to check if that was all correct. I think the fit is amazing on this dress. I used a printed linen, medium weight, structured. You do need structured fabrics for this one, and I think the fit is amazing. The detail on the front, the neckline is really pretty with that little V and the rounded area on the sides. All that area is sewn double. I do show you how to put all this bodice together, as well as customizing the fit for those curved bust darts that are under there. They need to be concave. You can't just sew them normally, or else you get dimples and puckers there on the tip. The area under the bust is rounded. You can make short sleeves or long sleeves with this dress. I have a short sleeve version there, and the shoulder fit is really good. I feel I can move and be super comfortable. The blue and the yellow, I love it. It's just so nice. This dress is so beautiful. Of course, you can really tell when I love a dress because I make multiples. I can't help myself. I just get so excited. And in this case, I do have the same type of fabric. It's a medium weight linen in black and white. You know how much I love black and white things. The only difference here is that I made it sleeveless. That is not part of the pattern. It's a hack I usually do onto most patterns. I just modify the armhole a little bit for more cover, and I have some binding in there. All the rest of the pattern is all the same, and I have another gorgeous Recoleta dress that is super classic. Love the look. This is a type of dress that I would make over and over again. Then I had it in my mind to make another one, and this is a hack just done with color blocking. On the bodice, the center area, those are separate pattern pieces, so I just made those in black linen, and I created an extra piece for the skirt to match that, so that vertical stripe goes all the way from the neckline down to the hem. You can see there is a seam there underneath the bodice that matches that. Just simple color blocking, adding a little bit of seam allowance here and there. The dress looks really impactful, and the print on the sides, the red with the white and black, is really pretty. As always with each to stitch patterns, the bust cup sizes are going to make a huge difference in the fit, especially with a bodice like this that is fitted and hits under the bust. I did lengthen my bodice a little bit. I sewed a size 14 to 16 hips with a C-cup, and I'm always super happy with the fit. This is a crepe, medium weight. I would say it's not that lightweight, but I do need a slip under this one. I tend to say that about most of my dresses, but I love them so much, and I think these are one of my favorites of the year as well. This is the Oasis dress from Sinclair Patterns. This is the first time I was a pattern tester for this brand, and I really like this asymmetric bodice. It's higher on one side, longer on the other, and below there you have a skirt that is pleated front and back. The skirt can be as long as you want. You can make this as a top, as a tunic, as a short dress like mine, or even maxi all the way to the floor. I really like the bodice. It's really easy to sew. It's got a drop shoulder with a really good armhole cover, scoop neckline finished with a band. The Oasis top can also just be a top without all the pleated skirt, so that is another option in the pattern, but I'm just a fan of dresses, so I made dresses for both of mine. This one has a denim look cotton jersey that's quite structured for the bodice, really appropriate. And at the bottom I have a printed rayon spandex that is really floaty and light. I love mixing those two prints. I think it's a really interesting look. I sew a toe file and I have no issues there. My second one is made in ITY. It's really not one of the recommended fabrics because it's too lightweight, but I have tricks around that. The only thing I do is make the bodice lined. I self-lined. I have the same pattern pieces inside and out, and that gives the bodice a little bit more structure and also allows you to enclose the seams. You can see how to do that on my channel, of course. And then I have my floaty pleated skirt underneath. I've worn this dress a lot this year. I feel great when I wear it. It's so nice. This print also is pretty amazing, and the design is original, not what you typically see in a knit dress. It's also a dress that won't take you an hour to sew, but all the extra steps and being careful are super worth it. If you are worried about how these pleats come together, don't worry, because it's also seen on the video on my channel and you can do it for sure. The knit and knit top is a top, as the name says, but as usual I have made one into a dress as well. This is a heavier rayon twill in this beautiful print with a navy background. I have a belt there, but I can also just release the belt and wear it normal. It would fit like a shift style dress. The special features of this pattern are in the neckline, and the way that this comes together means it's partially lined on the front and you have pleats that cross over in the center. There is a little keyhole detail behind the pleats that is optional. You can sew it without that keyhole, but I think it's so pretty, I decided to sew it up. You can see that it doesn't really show much, just a tiny bit of skin. I think is really pretty and different, really. I do show you how to put all this neckline together step by step, so don't be scared about that. I think if you have a top pattern that you really like the fit of, don't hesitate to make it into a dress. If you like how it fits everywhere, there's no reason why you just can't lengthen it and make it into a dress. I usually need to add between 12 to 14 inches to most patterns to get them to hit above the knee, and I really like making dresses out of my top patterns. Here, because it is a woven pattern, you also have bust cup sizes from A through double D. I sew a 14 to 16 hips here. This is a lyric dress from Love Notions, and I've made this dress multiple times in the past. In a smaller size, so I had to reprint my pattern and refit it really. The body changes and so does fitting. So this is a 16 with a C cup. The bodice does hit the waist. I do need a few length adjustments, so this bodice hits my waist. The bust studs need to come down also, and the waist studs need to be shortened. The dress has an official sleeveless option, and I know from the past I wanted a little bit more cover on the armhole, so I took the opportunity that I was making again to make that happen, and now I'm really happy. We have a little placket here with a V neckline. I do show you how to sew that on my channel. It's a really classic dress, and I love that this dress flares out a little but it's not that full. This is a rayon linen blend in a beautiful print. Love the look, it's so fresh, and I have worn this out. You can see some pictures of me wearing it in my regular life. So nice. I love the lyric dress. My mom loves it too. I've made it for her in the past. I think you can make it many times and make it look different because there are so many sleeve options. There's also skirt options, so yeah, you can make 10 and no one will know it's the same one. Another pattern from Love Notions that was released in the summer was the tempo dress, and this is a sundress that is super friendly to be worn by a lot of people because of those wide straps. So if you are wearing a nice supportive bra with thick straps, these are going to cover it. It's so nice. I did make a few length adjustments to get it to fit. You have some side bust studs there as well. At the waist, you have a skirt that is slightly gathered and also flared. There are inseam pockets that I actually sewed this time. You wouldn't believe it. And I went the extra mile and have French seams inside, including the pockets. I do have a video showing you how to do that technique. It's really special inside. Very pretty. Here you can see the bodice, how it fits. It's not showing cleavage or anything, and I love that little sweetheart type of neckline. At the back you have a shirred panel, and because the elastic used in shirring irritates my skin, I made that panel double. I actually lined this whole bodice. It is 100% rayon, pretty lightweight, so it is self-lined. I do show you how to do that on my channel if you want to do that. I think it just makes it a little bit more structured, but I always love these light fabrics for the flowiness on the skirt. I think sewing it in a rayon just in a single layer would be too lightweight. The original design has facings inside. All I did was cut my bodice twice and line it. Always super possible, and I had a lot of fun with pattern placement here because this print is so outrageous. You know, the fabric was really special, so cutting out time was extra long but extra worth it. The second one I made is the same, only I made a fake placket on the center of the bodice and the skirt. It is fake, it's not functional, but it is actually folded in a pleat sort of way there with buttons. I think it looks really pretty, and I love this background blue with orange. This is a really lightweight crepe, so the treatment I made to the bodice is the same. It's fully lined, and the shirt panel is double. Really floaty. I love all my dresses above the knee. It's a great sundress. I think it looks great on everyone that has made it. Super nice. This is the Yasmin dress from Sinclair Patterns, and it's a knit dress, but it's got a really nice original bodice. I always like sewing different things. It's got an empire cut underneath the bust, and you find micro pleats there. A wide type of waistband that is higher at the center front and shorter on the sides. There is a center front seam, and the way the V neckline is finished inside is super easy with an integrated facing. There's no neckband needed here. There are skirt options. I've chosen a gathered skirt that is flared out. There is another one that is fuller. There are sleeve options, but I made mine sleeveless, which is also an official option. I like the cover there. I have nice binding inside, and on the channel you can see how to put this bodice together. Because it is a lightweight knit, I do my trick of lining the back. That means that you can enclose shoulder seams and side seams, and then it feels really nice and soft inside. I love the navy and the white print. Really special fabric, and I'm glad it got made into a beautiful dress like this. This is the Camilla Cow, a super popular pattern from 5 out of 4. You can make it as a top or a dress. I have the swing style dress here with a really light ITY, floaty dress. Super nice amount of ease at the waist and hips to feel super comfortable. I love the drapey feature there, and the ITY has a really nice flow there. The cow neckline is so pretty and easy to sew. There are tiny little pleats on the shoulder, and it's really easy to put this together. You can see how to do that on my channel. I didn't need to modify the armhole here. It's got great cover. I have a size extra large, and so happy with this make. I love the red, the black and white in this print. This is a spear and top from Itch to Stitch. It is originally designed to be a tank, so what you see here is a hack. Because the bodice hits so well and I'd already fitted it, all I did to the small piece of the peplum top was lengthen it by about 15.5 inches, slash and spread, and I created skirt pieces instead to add to the bottom of this bodice. I love that it's an empire line. It hits right under the bust. There's some diagonal pleats there, and there's a wide waistband in there. The technique to put this dress together is super special. It is fully lined inside. This is a lightweight athletic knit with a floral print and a black background, which is Always my favorite. I love the fit of the V neckline, and it's such a nice dress. Totally me. There is a regular and a full bust option here in this dress as an option. Size range is really good from 0 to 40, and I loved it as a top, so I couldn't help myself to make it into a dress. Modifying the peplum a little bit to create a flowy skirt, always possible, and making changes like this is one of the most enjoyable things I love doing in sewing, putting my own twist into things. This is my violet dress from Sinclair Patterns in an outrageous red background print with colors. It is a really floaty ITY. The skirt can be as short or as long as you want it to be. Mine is about 22.5 inches, so it hits above the knee. Very floaty. The special thing that this pattern has is the bodice that hits the waist. You can see there are pleats and a center panel. It's all lined inside as part of the technique, and those little pleats make it look like it's ruched. Really fun, very different to other dresses I've made, and I love sewing different bodices. I have a sleeveless option here. You can of course sew on sleeves if you want to. The neckline turns out looking a little bit squared, and the finishing techniques inside are amazing. You do a lot of the sewing of this dress on the sewing machine, and partially you can sew a lot of seams with the serger as well. I think projects that combine both get you really accurate results because you can't just sew everything on the serger. And I like to keep it handy when I'm sewing knits also. Look at this beautiful ruched bodice. So pretty, so original. You can see how to put this bodice together on my channel, and as usual, the toe file works wonders. I didn't need to make any fitting adjustments, and I'm very happy with how everything looks here. This is my Flawsome dress from Pattern Emporium. This was a really quick sew. I purchased the pattern on the day it was released. I sewed it on the same day, and I had the video for you that same night. It is a fitted type of dress. There is a separate seam at the back of the bodice, but the special thing here is this neckline. The neckline is quite high on the top, but there is a piece that overlaps over the other, leaving a cutout detail there that shows a bit of skin on the upper chest. I don't feel I'm showing too much. I wouldn't want to show cleavage, so I think the cover here is pretty good. I finished these details with a band, and it's not hard to sew. I do show you how to put this neckline together in my video. This is a really soft, medium weight athletic knit. It's not really compressive or too structured, so it was really perfect for this style. I feel amazing in this dress. This is the Grace dress from Wardrobe by Me in a really nice woven. This is a rayon linen blend, super floaty with a tropical print. Love that navy blue and the orange. Large print scales are always calling to me. This is super comfortable to wear. Bodice hits the waist, but there's tons of ease here. And there is a casing, and I have a mix of elastic at the back to create a neater gathered look. And then I have a drawstring made with self fabric at the front. A little V neckline finished with binding. I have a sleeveless finish. There is a yoke finish with burrito method and a little bit of gathers at the back. It's a dress that's full of lovely details. I do have a video I made for the Wardrobe by Me YouTube channel showing you how to sew all this neckline detail. You can see how to put the bodice and skirt together and the drawstring on my channel. You know I'm a sucker for woven dresses, especially ones that have nice waist ease, and it also gives that waist definition also. The Arlington is a pattern that was released from Love Notions, and it includes tops, sweaters with different types of necklines, and there's also a dress version. Of course I had to sew a dress because I'm a sucker for dresses. This is a semi-structured sweater knit with polka dots, and I have the cow neck option here. So cozy, oh my gosh. Although I'm posing in the heat for you, I know it's going to be really nice when it's cold. Love the polka dots. It is a semi-fitted dress. It fits nicely, but it's not super tight. It's not bodycon either. On the back there is a center seam that gives you a bit of shaping at the back and easy to adjust for sway back. Love it. What can I say? Black and white also. I've been really obsessed with that type of print in this year. This is the Meet You There dress I made from Pattern Emporium. I love this style in a woven fabric. It's a really comfortable dress to wear that has quite a lot of ease at the waist. There is a separate bodice and a skirt that is gathered onto that bodice. You can make it long or short, and you can combine the amount of tees you want. So this can be anywhere from a crop top all the way to a maxi dress. This just depends on how many tees you want to put in there. I have a long tee and a short tee. I made sure to measure them and that the final length of the dress was going to be above my knee. There are ties you can sew onto the side seams as an option. You can see how nice and loose this dress is. Tied up at the back for a bit of waist definition. You have a higher, medium and a low scoop. This is a medium scoop. finished with binding. And there are sleeve options. You can make it sleeveless, or you can add this bishop sleeve that hits the elbow. It has a casing with an elastic. Really nice. There is a little yoke at the back. I made a little burrito trick that lets you enclose some of the seams on the back and the neckline. That is really fun. You can see how to do that on my video. And you'll see a little bit later I've made a top with this pattern as well. Super nice fit. Very comfortable, very wearable. You would wear this a lot. It's so nice to wear. This print is so lovely. Rayon linen blend is always one of my favorites because it's medium weight but also very drapey. Black background, can't go wrong. This is the first Asta dress from Wardrobe by Me patterns that I made. A really classic silhouette with a fitted bodice and a skirt that flares out. The original skirt is longer. I shortened mine to be above the knee like I like my skirts. There are slanted pockets on the skirt that are really nice to sew, easy, and the bodice hits the waist. I had to shorten my bodice a little bit. I am short-waisted and do a little bit of a sway back adjustment so that it hits the small of my back nicely. The pockets are nice. They don't create bulk. The top of the pocket bags are sewn into that waist seam, so they're anchored there. Really nice. And I have a bateau neckline here. There is also another option with the neckline. You can see how to sew it on my channel. And I have a sleeveless option. The sleeveless hole is finished with bands and it gives you great cover. I love this snake type of print in grey tones. Fabric is heavyweight, athletic knit, and I think it's really appropriate for this dress. This is my second Asta dress, and this was made in a really light sweater knit. I think this has a lot of vibes from the 70s, just the print. And the purple and green tones and grays with circles and stripes is really stunning in my opinion. It goes perfect with my purple boots. Fit and flare style, which is a classic. Long sleeves and a mock turtleneck make it really comfortable. Can't wait to wear this when my weather gets cold. For now, I have it tucked away because it's still so hot. Don't think you can't make nice dresses with lightweight sweater knits. You know, they aren't just for cardigans or tops. You can make nice dresses as well, and this is proof. The Celeste dress from Itch to Stitch is one of my favorite dress patterns. I'd made it before in woven fabrics as it is intended. Princess seams that come from the shoulders both in the front and the back. There is a shorter bodice with a small gathered panel in the center of the skirt. I did make some small modifications that makes it super simple to sew if you want to sew it in a knit fabric. This is rayon spandex. I sew the same size as I do in a woven because I wouldn't want this type of fabric to cling to my body. I had a lot of fun planning how I was going to cut this fabric because the stripes, I didn't really want them to be horizontal all around. So I have a mix of horizontal and vertical. I modified the neckline construction and made it easier actually by placing it on the fold and just drafting my own neckband for that V neckline. Check it out on my channel if you want to see how to convert this really nice pattern so that you can make it with a knit as well. I love it in a woven, but it is totally possible to make it in a knit with a few little tweaks here and there. Love the colors here, the purple tones, so nice. The Talon dress from Itch to Stitch is also a pattern I'd made a few years ago, but the fabric was getting really worn from all the times I've washed and worn, so it was time to make another one. This is a really floaty ITY. I love the fit with the princess seams front and back. That helps you keep a fitted silhouette up to the waist and then flare out slightly from the hips down to the hem without creating a lot of bulk underneath the bust, which can happen when you just have patterns that just have a front and a back piece. This originally has scooped necklines. I modified mine to be a deeper V and drafted my own V neckband. I also modified it to be sleeveless because the original dress has sleeves. So have a look at all these practical things on my channel. I do show it on the video if you want to make little changes to your pattern. Love the navy here. It's a really nice dress that fits amazingly and looks great on everyone. I feel great whenever I wear my Talon dresses. Tessa sheath dress from Love Notions was updated recently to include the full size range and add a full bust option there. It does still look like the original design that was released many years ago. I was a pattern tester and I made my version in a really heavy athletic knit with a gorgeous print. Pretty pricey fabric, but very appropriate for this dress. You do need structured fabric. I have a little bit of a sway back adjustment going on there on that center back seam. Scoop neckline, sleeveless, all finished with binding. There are yoke options. I have a yoke at the back only, but you can put one on the front also and do some contrast. Have a little bit of fun doing that. Love my dress. I brought it along for my trip and I have actually worn it out to church here. Very easy to care for, easy to wear. While I was here in Chile, I made one for my sister-in-law in a Liverpool knit. Nice and medium weight, structured fabric, perfect for Tessa. Hers is an extra small, fits really great on her. For her, I did a facing finish on the neckline and I have short sleeves there. She wanted hers just slightly above the knee, and it's a great fit for her. It'll be a classic, really nice. I love how it looks on her and she's really happy with it. It's really hard for me to pick favorites with dresses, you know. I really like them all. I tend to get the most satisfaction from the ones that have a lot of pattern pieces, or I really appreciate dresses that have princess seams, for example. So favorites, I really can't name them. I'd have to really think about them, but as ones that stand out from the year, for sure, are the Recoleta dresses from Each to Stitch. I made 3 of them, so you can tell that I really like them. And there are many more that I really, really enjoyed. You know, we've been in the house for a pretty long time, and I'm still not quite confident to just start going out in the frequency that I used to. I really hope that in the year 2022, I can start wearing my dresses out more. Some of them haven't been worn out or just have been worn around the house. So I'm really excited to show them off in my real life. Not that I want to show off, but just to wear them and feel good in them, because that is one of the reasons why we sew, right? We want to go out in our clothes, right? So yeah, excited about the dresses. I hope you enjoyed watching this one. I hope this was good inspiration for your sewing plans. Maybe there's a pattern you hadn't really thought much about and you liked it, seeing it made up. It's always the case. I will see you again tomorrow with another roundup video. There's part 3 and part 4 coming, and that will total up to about 140 makes. I hope you are making the most out of these last few days left. I will see you again very soon with more twirls and roundups. Bye.